These are the authors you're going to meet: Pamela Duncan Edwards, Angela Johnson, and Mark Teague. And the books you're going to see: Clifford Makes a Friend, Macduff Comes Home, Suddenly, The Hat, Time to Sleep, Arthur's Computer Disaster, and Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Mall. So watch for them.
Stop right there. Before you can read, you gotta find the right book. And that's not always easy. But the people who bring the Scholastic Book Fair to your school are serious about helping you to find the right book.
Hey, Amanda, check this out. Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Mall, complete with 3D glasses. Oh, you've got to see this.
Well, here we are at Hillside High.
Where's Scooby, Daphne?
Right here. Rah, rah, rah. Whisper, rah.
John, what are you doing?
I'm getting a strange feeling about this.
We don't have time for that. We're going to show you some of the books you'll find at the book fair and meet some of the coolest authors and illustrators. Then you can decide for yourself what books you want to read.
Cool.
Now let's go meet those authors. Pamela Duncan Edwards wrote this delightfully daring tale. It's a dinosaur version of Cinderella. It's called Dinorella, a prehistoric fairy tale.
Pam says that all you need to write your own story is a pencil, paper, and your imagination. She wrote her first story when she was only 8. Dinorella is an alliteration book. There are D words everywhere. Pam did that deliberately to delight dynamic young readers. Do you feel a desire to duplicate her determination?
And I had to make long, long lists of words beginning with a D and see whether I could fit them into the sentences that I wanted to use them in. So it took quite a long time.
We could write, "The diver sees the dolphin dart away as the damsels dance around the dairy cow." Pam says she's always thinking of stories and new ways to tell them, and this is her secret.
I use my eyes. And I use my ears. And I use my brain. And my imagination. And I look and I listen all the time.
All Pam's stories have animals in them. She says they give her ideas.
And I'm listening to that bird up there and thinking, yeah, there must be something or other I could write about him because he's obviously up there watching what's going on down here. Dinorella was dainty and dependable, but Dora and Doris were dreadful to Dinorella. All day they demanded.
Dinorella, dig the garden. Dinorella, fetch us drinks. Dinorella, start the dinner.
Pam has written 4 books with alliteration, S, F, W, and D, so she has 22 letters to go.
ABC.
Done that.
E.
Did it.
GHIJKLMNOPQR.
Already done.
TUV.
Completed.
X, Y, and Z.
I dearly love all this alliteration, all these D words. Daring, delightful, delectable, dashing, dinosaurs. John, what's with the glasses?
I feel like Dinorella.
Well, you look like a dork. Oh no, not another D word. It's driving me crazy.
It's all in the glasses, Amanda.
Like, try these on for size, Scooby.
Did you see that?
John, I think we need to focus on books right now.
Focus, Amanda. Focus on these great books in the Critics' Corner.
What happens when a big red dog meets a little boy? Super-size friendship. Clifford and the boy do everything together. They spin and run and play and jump. Oh, they even do cartwheels. Oh, you'll love reading along with them in a big way.
Macduff sees a rabbit. Zoom! Macduff chases it through the fence, into the garden, and over flower beds. And phew, is he tired. Macduff ran away, and he doesn't know where he is. Oh, no. Will he ever get home again? Well, find out for yourself in Rosemary Wells' brand new Macduff adventure.
How do you outsmart a mean old wolf? Change your mind. Just when Preston the pig starts to walk down the street, or into the house, or out of the school, suddenly he remembers something. And the more Preston remembers, the more trouble he makes. For the wolf, in Colin McNaughton's hilarious story.
Dinarella had all those D's. I'm here on this farm, and all I see are P's. Pigs, peacocks, peeps. Well, watch where you step. Angela Johnson wrote this book, Julius, about a pet pig who becomes a little girl's best friend. The girl in the book, Maya, is really Angela, and the pig is really her two little brothers.
These guys can't wait to hear about Julius. Maybe they hope to be in a book someday. Julius is a story about friendship and sharing. Maya and her big pink pig do everything together.
Did your brothers ever make a noise like that?
Oh, yeah, right before dinner.
Angela started writing back in 3rd grade when her mom gave her a diary.
At that time, I had read Harriet the Spy. So I was a spy. I went around my neighborhood collecting stories from people. I wasn't such a wonderful spy, but I liked the writing part. And that became more important than the spying part. And I loved it. It's a good book, too.
When Angela was growing up, she also wrote adventure plays and made her brothers be in them.
Well, one of their favorite was Christopher Columbus, believe it or not, because they were always discovering something, which usually gave them time enough to run off, and leave the play, and they said they'd be discovering something.
The illustrations in Julius are by Angela's good friend, Dave Pilkey. Maya looks just like Angela did when she was little, and those two little boys, that's what her brothers really looked like.
Maya immediately loves Julius, and of course Julius loves Maya, but he loves the idea of being Julius even more. And the idea that he can finally find that place in his heart to share everything with Maya because he loves her so much is great. Great story about a pig.
I want to read that book. Me too. Me too.
Me too.
John, I couldn't help noticing these awesome glasses that... John, what's with you and the glasses?
It's all in the glasses, Amanda. Okay, did you see?
Why do you suppose pigs are hot in books right now? Because they're funny and fun to draw? Well, John met an author who certainly agrees with that.
Did your mom ever call your room a pigsty because it's so messy? Well, the author of this book had a totally messy room, and that's what his mom called it, a pigsty. And Mark Teague wrote a book about it.
When I was a kid, I was always getting in trouble because I was one of those kids who was just, I'd doodle all the time. I'd doodle on my homework and the teachers would get mad. I used to even doodle on my shoes. Did any of you ever do that?
Mark turned his doodling into art and wrote a book about a bedroom that was so messy, such a pigsty, real pigs came to live in it.
In fact, they had a wonderful time. They played Monopoly until late each night, and they left the pieces lying all over the floor.
We think just about everybody likes Mark's book, especially those who know about pigsties. As you can imagine, while illustrating his book, Mark became an expert at drawing pigs.
It's got big nostrils and little beady eyes up on top of that.
Watch and you can try it too, just like the kids in this class.
I was like Wendell when I was a kid with having the bedroom that was so messy, but also I think part of Wendell that comes out in the story is that this is a boy with a very wild imagination, and that was me too. I don't know if you find when you're writing, but I find that the hardest part about writing a story is just getting started. Do you ever find that?
So to get started, Mark makes a list of all kinds of words he finds interesting in a regular notebook.
I write in a notebook just like that one.
Then Mark starts making up his story, and this time the kids in the class did too.
One day at school, a popcorn-eating dragon took my book. I didn't want to get fried, so I didn't fight back. So after school, I followed that dragon. It seemed like miles, but finally we got there.
The notebook's just piled up with great stories. Anybody else interested in writing a story about a dragon? Or how about drawing one?
The biggest part is practice. The more you work at something like this, writing or illustrating, the better you get.
Here's a list of words that Mark Teague and that classroom of kids came up with. You may want to write them down and write your own story with your teacher. John, cut it out. We're talking about imagination here. I mean, that's what makes a great story.
Oh, it's imagination you want. I thought we were on a sightseeing tour for books. Speaking of books, check out the Critics' Corner.
Hudgy the Hedgehog's got a new hat, but the animals on the farm don't like it one bit. They think Hedgy looks silly. And what's worse, when Hedgy tries to take the hat off, it's stuck. What's a hedgehog to do? You'll love Jan Brett's latest animal story.
How do the animals know when it's time for bed? Bear smells winter in the air and decides to tell Snail it's time to sleep. But first, Snail must tell Skunk, who must tell Turtle, and so on and so on. Hey, will the animals ever get to sleep? Denise Fleming has written the best bedtime story for everyone.
Arthur loves his new computer game, Deep Dark Sea. When Mom goes off to work and says, "Don't touch the computer," Arthur doesn't listen. In fact, Buster and Arthur fight to finish the game and drop the computer keyboard on the floor. Oh no, is Arthur in trouble again?
Soon you're going to get a chance to visit the Scholastic Book Fair at your school. You're going to find action, adventure, animals, aliens, awesome characters.
And some books that may just surprise you. Books that might help you see things in a whole different way.
Books that will make you laugh, and books that might encourage you to write your own story. Plus, you'll meet people in these books who are really brave.
Oh, we're all out of time, but there are lots more books for you to check out at the Scholastic Book Fair.
Be creative. Use your imagination. Take your time. It's all about finding the right books for you.
These are the authors you're going to meet: Marissa Moss, Jean Craighead George, and Jerry Spinelli. And the books you're going to see: Upchuck and the Rotten Willie, Wolves, Basher 5-2, Out of the Dust, Ella Enchanted, Ballad of the Civil War, and Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Mall. So watch for them.
Right there. Before you can read, you have to find the right book. And that's not always easy. The people who bring the Scholastic Book Fair to your school are serious about helping you to find the right book.
Hey, Amanda, check this out. Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Mall, complete with 3D glasses. You've got to see this.
Well, here we are at Hillside High. Where's Scooby, Daphne?
Right here. Rah, rah, rah.
Hey, yeah.
John, What are you doing?
I'm getting a strange feeling about this.
We don't have time for that. We're going to show you some of the books you'll find in the book fair and meet some of the coolest authors and illustrators. Then you decide for yourself what you want to read.
Cool.
Now let's go meet those authors. Picture this. You're going on a long, long car trip, whether it's to SeaWorld or the Grand Canyon. How are you going to pass all that time in the car without going crazy? In this book, Amelia Hits the Road, Amelia's mom gives her journal, just like this, to keep her from fighting with her sister Cleo, and so she can help remember the trip. Marissa Moss wrote this Amelia journal and drew all these funny pictures inside. So she's going to come on a road trip with us to show us how to pass the time with a smile.
I love to write, I love to draw. It's the best thing I can imagine doing. That and reading. 3 of them together.
Oh my gosh!
Look at that! Wow. Oh, it's great! Okay, can you get that in your camera? The whole thing. Oh, it's
a big wizard.
Yeah, this is stuff we need to sketch or we won't remember it, and we can write things about it. Like that dinosaur that's got the one yellow tooth, he's got a real dental problem, doesn't he?
This is a picture of my scary dinosaur that they have. But I think theirs might be a little bit scarier. I'd hate to be their dentist.
Okay, we gotta go. Gotta get back in the car.
Okay.
Do more drawing, more writing. Oh, this is great.
Look at all the cars.
Look at this place. Oh, okay, I've got to get a picture of you like the car is about to crash into you, okay? The front of this is really great.
Wow.
This is just great. We got to draw this. I wish I were better at drawing cars. That's just not my strong point here.
Same here.
I can draw other stuff, but cars are just really hard for me. You're gonna need another notebook soon. You keep going. You're gonna have to keep a stack of them in back. See, that is something you would never fit on your camera because it is way too big. You've got to draw it. Now, why is it that Raggedy Ann only gets bottom eyelashes but no top eyelashes? Tell me the mystery to that.
I wanted to know why Amelia in the book writes about being worried her friend Nadia won't like her anymore.
If you write a story, it helps you understand what you're thinking about. At least it helps me. I always feel better after I write something down. It's the same for Amelia. She needs to write it down. So she makes up the story to figure out why she's feeling so worried about seeing Nadia.
And now we're off to another adventure.
Oh, you look like you've fallen out of the building. That's great. Okay. All right. You survived.
This is the actual notebook Marissa wrote, and the picture she first drew for Amelia Hits the Road.
I think writing gives you a real power, and I want kids to have that power. Because it's hard when you're a kid, you're little, you can't do stuff, grown-ups are always telling you what to do, but when you write, you can do whatever you want. It's great. It is the power of the pen, and I want kids to write and draw, but especially write.
This is by far my best picture. Look how pointy and sharp I made the dinosaur's teeth, right? And I even did...
Vacations. Don't you just love them? Oh, do you want to see this?
John, you're not funny. Think books.
Funny, Amanda? Zoom in on the Critics' Corner.
In Bill Wallace's new book, life is good for Chuck the cat, as long as he's hanging out in the trees with his best friend Tom. But then Tom moves away, and his owner Katie goes off to college. Now that Chuck's all by himself, what should he do about Rotten Willie, the giant dog next door?
What if someone put a curse on you so you had to obey them? That's what happens in the Newbery honor-winning novel about 15-year-old Ella of Frel. A fairy enchants Ella with the gift of obedience. Some gift. Ella's hounded by hungry ogres, wicked stepsisters, and far-out fairies, and she just wants to be herself. Can she ever break this curse?
Newbery Medal-winning author Jean Craighead George has written 84 books, all of them about animals and nature and how kids relate to them.
Before she writes, Jean does research in the field, out here in nature, to learn about the plants, birds, and other animals she's going to write about. This, by the way, is a rat snake. Not poisonous, or I wouldn't be holding it.
Jean's latest book is Julie's Wolf Pack, and this might surprise you. Jean says that wolves and alligators have a lot in common.
Here, the gator is a top predator. On the tundra where I study in Alaska, the wolf is a top predator. The wolves, you can't get this close because they're terrified of people, and they leave. We watch the wolves through spotting scopes or in planes flying over the tundra.
Jean shot this video while exploring the Alaska tundra. Her life is one never-ending adventure.
I take notes in the field. I sketch so that I remember where the water comes on the alligator. And listen. That's the young. Yeah, they're calling to their mother. Aren't they great?
Whether Jean's studying nature in Florida, hitching up a dog mushing team in Alaska, or getting up close and personal with a bird of prey, she finds stories everywhere she goes.
What advice would you give kids maybe want to get started writing? What are some things that they can do?
Well, first of all, write. I say write, write, write. It's like playing the piano or dancing or acting. You've got to keep doing it. But you read a great deal. Reading is the greatest source of information. He is a beautiful little creature. I would sketch him if I had a pen. And remember, you know, by drawing things, you can kind of remember the details.
No sketches for these guys. They are out of here.
Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have the eyes and ears of a wolf? To run that fast? To swing through the trees like these guys? Well, that's the coolest thing about the Animorph books. You get to experience life inside the body of all kinds of animals. Gorillas, sharks, rhinos, wolves. The main characters morph them all.
You've probably heard about Animorphs, the most popular book series out now. The main characters are Cassie, Jake, Marco, Tobias, and Rachel. They've been given the ability to morph into any creature, like this llama, by touching it and acquiring its DNA.
The power was given to them by an Andalite warrior who came to Earth to save us from the invading Yeerks. Now our fate is in the hands of those 5 kids, in the books by K.A. Applegate.
Animorphs. The book series. Your whole world is about to change. We can't tell you who we are or where we live.
It's too risky.
It's too risky.
We've got to be careful. We've got to be very careful. If they find us, we just won't let them find us. The thing you should know is that everyone is in really big trouble.
Animorphs. Your whole world is about to change. Animorphs, the book series. They're out there now, so read them.
So, since morphing works through touching, I can touch you and that eagle, and I'll morph into an eagle with your head on it? Too weird.
It doesn't work that way, Amanda.
Something tells me we're losing altitude.
John.
You didn't see that.
Get serious.
Oh, serious, Amanda? Well, scope out these books in the Critics' Corner.
U.S. Air Force Captain Scott O'Grady is a real American hero. His F-16 fighter plane was shot down over the country of Bosnia. He was stranded, with no water, no food, and no idea whether an American search and rescue team would find him, or if the enemy would find him first. You won't believe his story.
Karen Hess's Newbery Award-winning novel opens in the year 1934. 13-year-old Billy Joe has to be so brave. Her mom has died, and she and her dad are struggling to get by in the Oklahoma Dust Bowl. Billy Joe doesn't know what to feel, but she writes everything down in her journal and finds love and hope when she least expects it.
We're here at a football stadium to talk to Newbery Award-winning author Jerry Spinell about his new book, Ringer. We brought him here because when he was 16, he wrote a poem about an incredible football game, which was published in his town newspaper, and that's what made him decide to be a writer.
The day after it was published, I went into school, and players, teachers, coaches pat me on the back. Way to go, man. All of a sudden, I was famous at Norristown High, and I'm thinking, this is cool. I think I'm going to be a writer.
Jerry always loved sports and continues to write about what he cares about. He says young writers can do the same thing.
You take your stories out of your own life and what you care about, whether it's sports or the clarinet or drawing pictures or whatever. Make use of whatever it is in your life that interests you, and you can wring stories out of it.
Palmer is a boy with a big problem in Jerry's new book, Ringer. The boys in town become ringers when they turn 10. They wring the necks of pigeons injured in a charity pigeon shoot. Palmer doesn't want to be a ringer. Then he takes in a pigeon as a pet. He can't let the other guys know. But his friend Dorothy finds out about the pet pigeon and knows how Palmer really feels about being a ringer.
A real friend is someone who will be in your corner and support you and do what's right and what's right for you, and will not drag you down pathways that you don't care to go.
Palmer is faced with enormous peer pressure, like kids everywhere, but he finds a way to remain true to himself.
A kid, I think, tends to wake up in the morning asking him or herself, what are all the other kids going to wear? And what are they going to say? And how are they going to behave? And how are they going to talk? And tend to fit themselves into conformity with that. I'm interested in the kid who wakes up in the morning and says to himself, what do I want to wear today? And what do I want to say? And how do I want to feel?
It takes Jerry about 1 year to write his award-winning books, and he says when the writing is over, he's ready to celebrate.
I tend to think of writing a story as a kind of performance or even an athletic event. So when I finish with one of my stories or novels, what I do is stand up and spike my pencil and do an end zone dance. And that's how I celebrate ending a book.
Jerry Spinell says you should not only write about what you know about, but also what you care about. He says when your writing shows just how much you care, that's your best chance at touching your reader.
Oh, yeah.
John, don't you think we should focus on what we're doing right now?
Focus, Amanda, yeah. Why don't we focus on these books in the Critics' Corner?
What happens when two brothers become enemies? Jack and Tom couldn't dream that anything would ever come between them. But when they got older and the Civil War broke out, Jack joined the Confederate Army and Tom joined the Union Army. A brothers' war had begun.
Wolves get a bad rap. Did you know that they travel in packs like one big family? Or that their main prey isn't people, it's moose? There's a lot you don't know about these cool creatures. Seymour Simon's new book is packed with color pictures of wolves in the wild. There are even shots of cute wolf cubs. Check it out.
Soon you're going to get a chance to visit the Scholastic Book Fair at your school. You're going to find action, adventure, animals, aliens, awesome characters.
And some books that may just surprise you, that may help you see things in a whole different way.
Books that make you laugh, and books that might encourage you to write your own story. Plus, you'll meet some people in these books who are really brave.
We're all out of time, but there are lots more books for you to check out at the Scholastic Book Fair.
Be creative. Use your imagination. Take your time. It's all about finding the right books for you.